Instead of my usual price update that I send out sort of on a weekly basis, I decided to make a video this morning just to try and put more sense into terms of what's happening in the markets at the moment. I'm getting a lot of questions and a lot of people, there's not a lot of clarity in terms of what is happening in the market, and people would like to understand the situation a bit better. So what I'll try and do this morning is just maybe put some more facts onto the table. I mean, this is by no means a comprehensive overview of what's happening, because there's so much happening in the market, but maybe hopefully through this video you'll get a bit more of a sense of what's happening both with supply and demand internationally, and then looking more specifically to fuel supply and pricing in South Africa, what's happening and what we can expect. Okay, by now you're aware of the conflict that is happening in the Middle East between the Israelis, United States and the Iranians, which is spilt over and encompassed about another 12 nations in the immediate vicinity. So just a bit more information on what is happening there. What we have in that Persian Gulf is an area called the Strait of Hormuz, which is a very narrow channel through which about 21%, it is estimated, of the world's fuel moves. Now, if you look at the surrounding countries, we have the likes of Iraq, we have the likes of Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE and Oman. And they account for, as I said, about 21% of the world's fuel. Plus, if you look at LNG, roughly the same amount of energy, and that product all has to move through the narrow choke point, which is the Straits of Hormuz. From the map, you'll see that it's been pulled up that it is a very constricted area, bordered totally by Iran on the one side, and no shipping is moving through there at the moment for fear of attacks, missile attacks from the Iranian side. So what we have is that we've got roughly 21, some estimates are up to 24% of the world's supply of fuel that has now been cut off. Together with that, we have got all the refineries from those surrounding countries that I mentioned that are now running out of storage capacity to store the product that they are producing, which means that they're either having to actually scale back on production and choke those plants right back, or get to a point where they have to close those plants down. If you look at countries like Iraq, it is estimated that Iraq is down 70% in terms of their production. The problem with refineries being a very complicated and technical sort of plant is that once you've shut it down, to actually get it started up again it's a very intensive, very prolonged process. And obviously the concern is that if these are shut down, that'll further impact on the world supply, because it'll take a while for it to get up and running again. With that, obviously, some of these sites have been damaged through missile attacks, and also it is unclear at the moment is what's going to happen with regards to the repairs of those plants and getting them up into full production as well. So that's on the supply side. I think we'd also be remiss not to mention what's happening on the demand side. We have got China, who is the world's second largest economy, that up until recently has been taking a lot of their oil and fuel from the likes of Venezuela and Iran. Now, it's estimated, again, depending on what source you look at, this could be anything from 20 to 23% of their total requirement. What has happened through the US military action, both in Venezuela and now in Iran, is that this source of supply has been cut off. And, talk is that this supply was also heavily discounted, anything from 15 to 20 US dollars per barrel, and so they no longer have access to this, which means that besides the major supply cutbacks that we've got, we now have got the second biggest economy in the world actively going out into the open market looking for 20-25% of their requirement. So this is obviously really added to sort of the perfect storm that we're seeing here with regards to both supply and demand that's taking place in the world. Okay, moving this a bit closer to home, what can we expect from this in South Africa? We need to recognize the fact that there are two important drivers for the pricing for petroleum products in South Africa. The first is the US dollar South African rand exchange rate, as we need to buy all of our product in US dollars. Obviously, the exchange rate between our local currency and what the US dollar is doing is fundamental in terms of determining what that price is. Secondly, South Africa a few years ago had quite a few refineries. Unfortunately, due to decreasing refining capacity, we are down to 3 refineries. So the bulk of the product coming into the country is direct imports of finished product. So the international prices of finished product, whether it be ULP 95, ULP 93 or diesel 50, which is the standard diesel grade, currently the international prices and movements in those prices have a fundamental impact in terms of what we will pay for the product in South Africa. Going to exchange rate, if we have a look at the graph that is being presented here, you can see our exchange rate was relatively stable up until the opening of hostilities on the 27th of February. And from then on, you'll see that we have just progressively weakened. It has been quite a volatile trip. On the 25th of February last month, we were tracking very well with regards to our exchange rate, having about 15 Rand 84, I think the number was, against the US dollar. That slipped rather badly all the way to 16 Rand 82 on Sunday. It has strengthened a bit over the last few days, but this is extremely volatile and the situation appears to be getting progressively worse with regards to our exchange rate in the US dollar. Secondly, if we look at international product prices, which the pricing mechanism in South Africa is based on, again, things were relatively stable over the last month until the opening of hostilities, and you'll see by the blue line on the graph being presented is that that is the D50 prices. You will see they've just escalated at a rate which is unprecedented since then. So obviously the escalation in the diesel prices and petrol prices internationally, together with our weakening exchange rate, is going to have a fundamental impact on our pricing, which I'll take you through next. Okay, so where is this all leading us? As you know, in South Africa, the pricing of our fuel is regulated by government, and the price changes once a month on the first Wednesday of every month. Now, our pricing mechanism is calculated on what we term a M-1 basis, which basically means that the average pricing for last month determines what this month's pricing is, and whatever the average pricing for this month is will determine what our price next month is going to be. So if we go have a look at the combination of the US dollar exchange rate and international prices and how they affect this month, you will see from the graph being presented there that the orange graph shows what the daily numbers are doing, and the average, which is shown on the green line, indicates what the average numbers are, and this is this average number that is used to determine what next month's pricing is going to be. I must be honest, in my 30 years in industry, I've not seen numbers like this, so not looking good at all. As you can see, we started off the month pretty much on the back foot with a projected price change of just over R1. However, given the deteriorating situation both to international prices and our exchange rate, the daily figure is sitting well over 10 Rand, and the monthly average has moved up to, as of yesterday, to 5 Rand 78 projected price change. Obviously, where this thing is going to go is anyone's guess at the moment. I think it'll all depend on how long this conflict takes to wrap up, and sort of what damage has been done, and how quickly the straits can be opened again, and how quickly production can get up to speed again as well. So as things stand, the position is very unclear, except the sure thing is that we're in for quite a price shock for next month. Where it's going to end up, it's very unclear at the moment. I think also what we need to take into account is the fuel that is in the country at the moment has all been planned for, and it has arrived. It was in tank by the time of price change. With regards to supply disruptions, I think we can expect shortages and rationing to take place as we move towards the end of the month and next month as well. So all in all, not good news, but I think as they say, forewarned is forearmed, and in terms of your strategies in dealing with it, I think there's a few things that can be done, and I will most probably put out a video sometime soon with regards to actually what to look at and what strategies you can potentially follow to mitigate some of these risks. Thank you.